Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Between the Numbers podcast. We know it's been a while, but it's just the way it goes. Not been that much news. We're going to react to some, see all the latest news, including Derek Carr's huge, the biggest contract, highest contract of all time in the NFL, which Derek Carr signed this week. Then we're going to talk about who we think can potentially return back to the playoffs. Our top four teams who were in the playoffs last season. And we think we'll make it back. And then just some other news from like basically the rest of the NFL. See how it's going down, But anyway, Will, how's it going, man?
Yes, it's alright. I already know what we do at the moment. We're like in a weird limbo part of life where we've just finished uni and we already know what to do.
Yeah, very true. Very true. No idea.
I got up I had an interview today, that was fun.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Maybe we'll get the job. We don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. The possibility of doing Between the Numbers full time is still very much
maybe
open.
It's definitely there. Like all day, every day. Just live stream it. And then it never goes away.
We'll do Facebook Live from everywhere.
Facebook Live from everywhere. That could work. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do it. I mean, we could go I don't know. We could Facebook Live the streams of training camps.
Oh wow! One led to review it.
Yeah.
And he threw the ball. Already caught it. He's looking quite good.
That could be a possibility. But how are you?
Yeah, man, it's alright. Basically the same. Got a little bit of a summer job coming up, so excited for that. But obviously, if Between the Numbers we get picked up by some huge network, then I'll be like, alright, see you out of the job.
What would happen if let's say we got picked up, but they were like, only you can go?
Only one of us.
Would you ditch me?
Would I ditch you to do what? I have to do my own thing.
Yeah, you do it by yourself.
Or do I get someone else? Oh, that's kind of something. If I'm doing
they hand you someone. You get you have to do it with Jeff Reinbold or someone like that.
Oh really? Okay. I mean that's pretty cool. But can I somehow get you in as a guest and then just have you in every week somehow? Just our guest as well this week. Oh, it's Will. And then by that time the fans obviously still love you and they're like, oh, we need to have Will in the whole time, and then you become a full-time member on the podcast.
That's good. All right,
it's all part of the plan, bro.
If anyone out there is listening and needs a podcast, maybe we should start getting some advertising. Or
yeah, man. I mean, if we start getting some money first, then yeah.
Yeah, we've pretty much only made a loss from this so far.
Yeah, very true. But
But hey, we've profited in experience.
Exactly. That's all that's needed. And I put it on my CV, so.
Oh, I put it on every cover letter on every CV. I use it in interviews all the time.
It's great, and they're like, "Wow, you do this," and I'm like, "I know, I'm so great."
Yeah.
Anyway, should we get into the news?
Yeah.
Well, let's start first with the quarterback for the Oakland Raiders. Derek Carr has completed his new contract extension, and he has signed a 5-year, $125 million contract extension, which put him over what Andrew Luck's contract was, to now be the highest paid player of all time in the NFL for one single contract. Obviously, some other players have accumulated more money over their careers, because they've had they've finished their career, and Derek Carr is still a young man. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy. 125 million for Derek Carr. I mean, he's the up and coming quarterback right now, and everyone's sold on him as yes, he will be top notch in a few years. If he's not already top notch right now.
He's probably, he's pushing on the door of the Andrew Luck status of being a top level young quarterback.
Definitely.
He's on there, and he's the highest paid player in the NFL now. I think that will not last very long. I think there's a lot of guys who are still due to get contracts who are probably going to break that pretty quickly. And it's just, it's the nature of the modern day NFL. I mean, the cap keeps going up, so players keep getting paid more, and the quarterbacks get all the money.
Yeah, there's just more and more money. Yeah, and the quarterbacks are getting paid horrendous amounts. I mean, 5 years for 125 mil. That's just.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I was expecting nothing less, because he played at such a high level last season, and they basically, the Raiders in the last couple of years have turned from being a joke team into now pretty much I'd say one of the favorites for the one of the like top favorites for the AFC. Like disregard if the Patriots weren't there.
Yeah, definitely contesting the AFC. I'd expect to see them for the next few years there for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and also, I mean, just in terms of like now that Derek Carr signed that contract, I was just looking back at the draft class that he was in, and that's actually like one hell of a draft class. I think it's at 2014 he was picked in the draft, and other players that are in that draft are guys like Khalil Mack, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, Aaron Donald, Derek Carr, Teddy Bridgewater, Jarvis Landry, Devontae Freeman. I mean, I think this is going to be like one of those draft class that gets ranked in like top 10 greatest draft class.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good right now for sure. And all those players. The best thing is that they have so much longer to play, and everyone's expecting it to be like they're already at a high level. All of those players that you listed, everyone can say that they play at a high level, and then and then they're all expected just to get better and be better.
Yeah, I think I'm really intrigued to see what, because I think Odell Beckham, he well, obviously because he's in that year as well, he'll be due a contract soon. That's gonna be a huge contract. Khalil Mack, that's gonna be a huge contract as well.
Yeah, the Raiders got 2 huge deals. Yeah, with Khalil Mack and this one from Derek Carr.
Yeah. And obviously they'll have Amari Cooper down the line as well. That's going to be another big ass deal. Yeah, did you see that there could be some, because the Raiders have got so many big stars at the moment, do you think there could be like a situation where we could potentially see maybe one of these stars maybe drop out because they just can't afford to pay him?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that potentially happening. I would think that if they, the best thing for the Raiders right now is if this year they go and push it into the playoffs again, they go deep into the playoffs again, then it can be then that's obviously a huge bargaining chip for the Raiders, and they're saying, well, if you stay with us, you know how it is here. Like for those players like Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack, the two we're talking about here. And then Khalil Mack is like the identity of the Raiders. He I can't see him going. Amari Cooper, on the other hand, though, I don't see it happening. But they also still have like Michael Crabtree as other wide receiver, and if they can't afford to put them all in, which is well, we're spending 125 million on this contract extension is showing them like what they're hoping to do. But I think Khalil Mack's definitely going to get paid, and Amari Cooper should definitely get paid, but I'm not sure if it will be at the Raiders, simply because of that issue.
Yeah.
If they find a way to do it, they won't be able to get in any huge free agent contracts away from other folks as well. I mean they just got Marshawn Lynch as well, so
yeah. I mean they got to take advantage of. They've got a lot of players on the cheap now, and they've got Marshawn Lynch, and that's kind of like, I like the idea of the Marshawn Lynch because either way, it's kind of like a win-win for them, because if he's crap, they can be like, well, we have other running backs, so that's fine. And if he's good, they look like geniuses, and it'll be perfect.
Bringing him back as well.
Yeah. And
it's only for a short number of time, and we all know how good he was when he left, and everyone's expecting him to somewhat be the same, really. I think a lot of people who have seen him train have said that he's like keeping himself fit. And he's, obviously he passed the medical and all that for when the Raiders signed him. So they clearly think he has the potential to be good enough to to be worthy for them to like play him.
Yeah. I also hear that Marshawn Lynch is giving out free haircuts and free tickets to water parks.
What a great guy.
I know.
What a great guy Marshawn Lynch is.
We need more people like him.
Clearly, yeah. But for the Raiders, it's huge because obviously they have that big move heading down to Las Vegas soon. So they're locking in Derek Carr for this move. I'm not really sure if this is kind of like it's gonna be odd because teams relocate. They relocate not at the top of their game.
Yeah.
Whereas for the Raiders, they're gonna be we think they'll be very, very good and be challenging for the AFC and maybe even the Super Bowl in a few years down the line. And that's when they move to Las Vegas. So
I think that's why it's so vital for them to try and I know it's not that much time, but they should do everything in their power to try and get a Super Bowl before they go to Vegas, because I think those fans in Oakland really deserve it, because you don't want like a Cleveland situation where you've got a team on the up and then they move to with obviously the Cleveland Browns originally in the 90s. They moved to Baltimore, and then the Baltimore Ravens, we all know what happened there. They won a couple Super Bowls, and it's so heartbreaking for a fan base that you kind of watch a team get built up and then it gets taken away from you, and then you're just stuck with nothing. But hey, they still got the Golden State Warriors though. They just won the NBA finals.
Yeah, true, very true. It's now that stage in American sports when there's like nothing else on.
Yeah.
But I mean, baseball's kicking about, obviously. Still, don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Is it? I don't know. It could be.
I think it is. I think I'm actually watching a baseball game. In August.
You are? Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, well, yeah. When I went to the States that was in August, and we saw a baseball game. Yeah.
Quite looking forward to it. I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, man. You got a nice little trip going there. It sounds like.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Gonna get any guys for our podcast? Huh?
Yeah, obviously I've already got in contact with the LA Rams. Jared Goff has agreed to give an interview.
Oh, nice! A live podcast.
Yeah, I think me and Colin Kaepernick's agreed to interview as well.
Oh, imagine we got an that'd be amazing.
I don't know, like maybe I was thinking of maybe heading down to the 49ers training camp because it's not that far from where I'm staying on one of the nights. So and it's free entry, so you know what, go there.
Wow,
look at the worst team in the NFL train. It'd be great.
Well, I mean, you're the potential in that team as well, I guess. Yeah. Some of the players, but anyway, should we move on? Move on to some other news.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm sure. So the top 100 players, got ranked this week, and then obviously, with no surprise really, Tom Brady at number 1, and I was looking at his since he's come into the league and he's been on that list since the list started, he has not been like lower than 4th, and that's over the past like 6 years. He's not been lower than the 4th best player in the league. Like, so that's just all right, isn't it? Just pretty easy.
I think it kind of sums him up as a player. I think he deserved to get that number 1 spot this year. I think just purely, mainly, I mean, from what he did in the Super Bowl, he proved what he did, and the way that he, I mean, at 39 and missing the first 4 games, that he came back and still was like pushed Matt Ryan very close to being MVP. Mm-hmm. So
I think it was only the only reason he didn't get MVP is because he was suspended for 4 games at the start of the season.
Yeah, that's conspiracies. Just the NFL just hating on Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah, it's all absolute rubbish. But yeah,
I liked it. But then looking at the rest of the top 10 that came out, I did quite like it that they opted away from just giving it all to quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, you got you got Aaron Rodgers in there at 6, and then Matt Ryan in there at 10. But yeah, I know. I mean, like definitely in the last few years, there's been at least 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the top 100. I mean, the top 10.
Two questions. What do you think of Zeke at 7 and Dak at 14? Do you think that's too high?
I'm more okay with Zeke being there. I'm still not really sure about Dak right now. He's good, he's young, upcoming, but there's a lot of hype about him, which I'm reserving myself on him to see another season. Just because he came in as like a late round, and like he's got Zeke Elliott there, who everyone knew would be really good.
Yeah,
and like behind that offensive line, I mean, it's amazing. Like, what quarterback wouldn't want to play behind there? But with Zeke, I'm totally fine. Obviously, going for it was like 1,600 yards or something. And like it's just I think if you have that run game which works effectively, then it takes all that pressure off the rest of the offense. Yeah,
Dak had incredible protection, and I mean, I think he should have been up there. I think 14's a bit high, but you can maybe justify him having a high position because you've got to think of all the quarterbacks that the Cowboys went through the season before and how terrible they were. And Dak Prescott as a rookie with with pretty much the same offense plus Zeke Elliott looks very, very comfortable.
Yeah, true. But I mean, the difference that I think if Dak Prescott say Dak Prescott came in last year or whatever, that and didn't have Zeke, and then everyone was like, "Oh, but he's got Zeke now, and now it's okay." But yeah, I'm just waiting to see what will happen. If I'm not expecting the run game in Dallas to like go down or anything, but I'm not so sure I'm sold on Dak just yet. Zeke, I'm pretty much gone. Yeah, like obviously, even though it's behind that offensive line, and I get all that chat about you could put anyone behind there and they'll rush for 1,000 yards. But I mean, obviously, you got Zeke there rushing for 1,600. But anyway, moving on from the Cowboys just yet. For the next segment of the podcast, guys, that'll be the last one. Obviously, it's not that much to talk about right now in the off season, so we're going to give you some great little predictions that we have. So we're going to give you guys each our 4 teams who made it to the playoffs last year, who we think are pretty much going back to who are going back to the playoffs this year. We'll expect them to. Obviously, I'm expecting some overlap here, but hopefully we'll come up with maybe 1 or 2 different ones. I mean, there are some pretty dead set ones in the league. Like for instance, like just kicking off the Patriots. Everyone's expecting them to go back to the playoffs. If they don't, then I don't know. Like imagine if if the Patriots don't go back to the playoffs.
There's never been a more like season where I'm more sure of it, because if Brady gets injured, they've got another like top level quarterback waiting in the wings. Like literally, so I think Gronk, Garoppolo, and Brady would all have to get injured for me to think that they're not going to make the playoffs.
I mean, like Gronk getting injured isn't that unlikely.
That's pretty much a gimme, but it has to be both quarterbacks as well. And
yeah,
then,
that's true. And then you know how like the grit and determination of Tom Brady, like he'll play just injured anyway.
Yeah.
No, anyway, yeah. So just starting out that off, like for me, the Patriots definitely going back to the playoffs. I wouldn't really expect any other. I mean, if they don't, then it's pretty much a very, very bad year for them. Even though you have the up and coming like Miami Dolphins and that, they won the division with like 4 wins over the Dolphins, so they're gonna need to drop a little bit for that not to be the case.
Yeah, it would have to be something so out of the blue that you can't even predict it how out of the blue it would be. Like, it's probably the biggest certainty in the NFL is that the Patriots will make the playoffs. Just not even because of how good they are, just also that division as well. I just don't really see much of a challenge.
Just the division is just the Patriots are so good, and that division, barring the Patriots, isn't that great.
Yeah,
You got some very middle of the pack teams there.
It's almost like the amount of times that they keep winning is playing in their favor, that it's almost sucking the life out of the other teams. That
exactly.
They could, if the other teams, so say the Bills, the Jets, they could maybe, if they really wanted to, mount a challenge, but they're just so like lifeless because every year they just get trampled on by Brady and Belichick.
And it's just like if you're a free agent and you go sign with the Bills, the Jets, or the Dolphins, you basically know you're not making the playoffs that year. You might believe it for the first year. You might like buy into the to whoever your coach is.
Yeah.
Philosophy and getting into it, but then I'd imagine like playing against the Patriots twice, you're just like, wow, these guys are just a cut above the rest, you know.
These are like machines.
And then and it's like just Tom Brady making everyone amazing.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. But anyway, yeah. So for me, the Patriots for sure. And then just moving on, I think that having next pretty much in that same area. Whereas I'd be very surprised if they didn't make it, simply because I don't see the rest of the teams in that division mounting a challenge. Would be the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks have been a staple in the playoff diet for the past like 5 years, and ever since Russell Wilson came to the league, pretty much he's got them there every time. And with the Arizona Cardinals going down last season, I mean the Seattle Seahawks won their division by 3 wins. And they had a 4-0 record in their conference. So within their division. So they're not doing too bad. And the Seahawks, they always turn it on at the right time. Like when it gets to November, late November, December, the Seahawks are always there.
Yeah.
And
I
I mean, obviously the Cardinals couldn't make it as well, but I'd be very surprised that the Seahawks didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't give them the same certainty that the Patriots have, because I think the Cardinals, they despite their trail off last season, they still have Larry Fitzgerald, they still have David Johnson. Like they've got, I mean, you got to look at their players they got on defense as well. They still have enough potential to mount a playoff challenge, but
it's just a question over Carson Palmer and what's going to happen there. That is the only issue. Right. Obviously, they got David Johnson, possibly one of the best young running backs in the league.
Yeah, and it's also if you keep making the playoffs as a year, it becomes a habit because you learn how to do it, and the Seahawks are starting to do that, and I think that would,
And they're getting used to it, and then imagine them not them having training camp 1 year, and then inside their practice field, you know how teams have NFC West division champions this year. Like if they didn't have that, it's always looming over them. They'd be like, why didn't we win it last year? But I think it's still there for them.
Yeah,
I'd be very surprised if any of the other teams, even if the Cardinals, I would it's not unexpected, but I would be surprised still.
Yeah, it would be tough for them. It's an uphill battle, but and then the other two teams, the 49ers and the Rams, they've got a lot of work to get into the conversation.
Mm-hmm. So I would go for the Seahawks as my number 2 team, who I'm expecting to get hit back into the playoffs. And then obviously you have maybe for number 3 I've got here. So they only won the division by 1 game this year, and it did come down to the end. But I just think the playoffs without the Green Bay Packers. It's the same deal with those two, with the Packers, the Seahawks, and the Patriots. Every single year they're in it. They're always other teams in their division may make it, but they're never making it as division winners. They're making it as coming into wild card. Yeah. And the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I think that they had a down year last year, even then they went 10-6.
They had a down year, and they seem to be shoring up the pieces of their roster that they struggled with last season. Was Rodgers didn't have enough weapons, and they had a poor defense, and I think they're addressing those parts of their roster.
They've definitely addressed it. Yeah. So for me, the Packers would be their number 3 for coming back into the playoffs. Now for my number 4 pick, there's a lot of teams that I can go for with here. I know you're toying about the idea of the Steelers, but I'm still very much hyped on the other teams in that division, as the Ravens and the Bengals, as being able to unseat them. So I'm not gonna go for them. We would talk about the Raiders here, and I would be surprised if the Raiders didn't make the playoffs. But then again, their division is very good.
Yeah.
But for me here, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Yeah. I don't see anyone else winning. I don't see with the acquisitions that they've made in the off season, and with how they're doing this, might be a little bit of a curveball, but I really can't see the Giants not making the playoffs in some way. They might not win the division, sure, but they'll definitely come through as a high wildcard team. With bringing in Brandon Marshall as well, you're having more options. Obviously, Victor Cruz is leaving, but Brandon Marshall is 100% one of the. Well, I'd rather have him on the team than Victor Cruz right now. But what they shored up the defense their defense last year. It was coming in the top 10s in pretty much everything, which is what they wanted to do with that. Well, you know how the last offseason they spent so much on their defense, and it kind of did pay off. And now they're just looking to kick on right now. They're drafting more weapons for Eli Manning, and it's one of those things Eli Manning has a good year, then an average year, and then he'll come back. But the Giants in the playoffs, they're always a team that you can't really count out. But I'm still liking the Giants to go back to the playoffs this year. I know, obviously, the Dallas Cowboys won the division and with 2 games ahead of them, but I would be more surprised if the Giants didn't go back to the just because of how young the top players in the Cowboys are.
Does that mean you think it's more likely that the Cowboys would do a boom or bust thing, that they're either going to be amazing or they're going to be terrible?
maybe not terrible, but I think that if they don't, like, if the Cowboys don't go back to the playoffs, then they'll see that as a bad year. And I can, it's
Okay.
like, yeah, so many. This is often an issue with wide receivers, that you have like a sophomore slump, that you have
Yeah.
like a really good first season, and then the second season it just peters out a little bit. And I don't think it's going to be the way with both of Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott, but I'm not so sure that. I mean, the people have figured out what they're gonna. Everyone's had a season to watch them now, and they kind of understand what to do against the players now. So they can game plan for them more often. As whereas like some teams just had no idea what Dak Prescott could do. Everyone knew what kind of they could do the running game, but I think I'm expecting I'd definitely put money on the Giants to go back to the playoffs this year.
Okay, that's a very interesting prospect. I did not see that coming.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's like stumped me a little. So I'd say my top three is probably similar to having the Patriots, the Packers, and the Seahawks there. Um, and then my team in fourth would, I mean, like you said, I would have to go for the Steelers. Like I think that division is so weak around them that I can't really see the Ravens or the Bengals mounting like a serious playoff challenge. I'd say probably the most likely would be the Ravens.
Yeah.
But even then, I'd think what the Ravens are most capable of is maybe winning, getting a wild card spot. I can't see them really challenging and wrestling that division title away from the Steelers.
Okay, yeah, it's true. I mean, I don't know. I quite like the Ravens, so maybe that's why I kind of maybe want them to do a little bit better. I still really I like basically all the teams in the AFC North. Like there's not a team which I dislike, and I know that's weird because like they all have a huge rivalry in between each other. So you kind of like one team and then you don't like the other. But I don't know. I still rate Flacco, and that Ravens defense is still very solid.
Mm.
And I mean, like they've done it before, so I wouldn't.
Yeah,
The whole,
I'm not denying.
thing.
I'm not denying they can't do it. I just, I
I
just,
can
I
see
think
with the
their ceiling would
Steelers.
be-
I think there's just the situation where like Big Ben was maybe thinking about retiring. If he goes down, they're not in the same level. I mean, obviously, like we've had it like with Antonio Brown going down, being injured, and also Le'Veon Bell missing a few games. So there's obviously there's some question marks over the Steelers, over their fitness and everything. But yeah, they're a team who are very much up there in the talk for going back to playoffs.
I'd say that my only downside would be that the Steelers, if Big Ben gets injured and he's out for the season, there's no real backup there. I don't really see Landry Jones as a viable backup to make the playoffs with.
Yeah, true. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of with most teams in the league. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's just the Patriots who could survive their first choice quarterback being taken away. Actually, I mean, maybe the Vikings now. Things looks like they're keeping on to Sam Bradford and they got Teddy Bridgewater, but other than that, there's no one else really who has the same quality of quarterbacks. Compared to the Patriots could lose Tom Brady and still go, but no, I don't think anyone else could lose their starting quarterback and still go to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's true.
Just it's a luxury that you guys have. Right, I think I think that is it for this week. Unless you have anything else you want to chat about.
Nah, not really.
Right, yeah, I think so. Yeah, obviously, there's a lot of. Hopefully, there'll be some more off-season talk coming up on your way, and then I think it's only like 99 days till. Well, I saw it was like 99 days to the start of the season, like a few weeks ago. So, and on like on NFL, they on their page on Facebook, they always post like one Sunday closer to football.
Yeah.
So that's always good. So hopefully there'll be some more stuff that we can chat about. But other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you guys next week. See ya.